Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to go over how I find plays and setups, um, starting on higher time frames and going down to lower time frames for scalps. But basically a quick run through of how I look for plays and setups and using different various types of confluence for these plays. Um, so let's get started on that. So the first thing I do is I start on the daily time frame, and I basically look for a range, right? So high time frame support and resistance, and it doesn't make sense to put all types of resistance. I mean, you can if you want, like we have resistance here at $18.35, but this is way, you know, um, like it's far away from our current price action. So although we have resistance there, I'm not going to be focusing on that. I'm just going to be focusing on uh, current price action and uh, the the price around our current price action. So we can go ahead and put resistance here at 9.5, right? That's high time frame resistance, and we're going to be putting support. Let's make the support lines white, right? So here's our range. Okay, here's our daily range, and here's range high, here's range low, right? And it's just been playing until one side breaks. So if you are a swing trader, right? So like, let's go ahead and first write our notes so we have it. So daily resistance, and we'll put this at the right. Let's do the top of the line. Okay, let's make this white. And then we can put one down here. Daily support. Right, so we'll put this at the bottom and to the right. Let's make this white. So we have our lines, okay? If you're a swing trader, whether you play on spot or futures, you're going to want to buy down here or long down here until broken, and short the daily resistance until broken, right? You could have done this twice. When we made the bottom here, there's the top, so you could have done it here, short it there, right? Bought down here again, short it up there, over and over again until one side gives out. And currently, neither side is given out. So support is support until broken, resistance is resistance until broken, right? So now we'll go on the lower time frame. These would be These would be your low and sorry, these would be your high time frame plays, right? You'll play support until broken, and you'd short resistance, right, until broken. So these are your swing plays if you're playing them. Okay. While those bids fill, you'd go on lower time frames and scalp. So you can go on the 4 hour, right, and place your support and resistances. So for now, here is a 4 hour support at 660. So you can put yourself notes, 4 hour support, and let's make this yellow, 4 hour resistance. We'll put this at the top. Okay, so now you have your levels, okay? And you're going to play that range. Here's the range, right? Here's the daily range. Here's your 4 hour range until broken. Okay, we bounced off support. We reclaimed it. We rejected close to resistance, and now we're here. All right. So now you're going to look for setups, and I have a video on this. It's the break of trend and neckline. Okay, so if you watched that video, you would have seen this here. Okay, so here is a trend formed, right? It's bouncing off the trend line, and you could have played this over and over again until broken. Now, don't just play trend lines by themselves. You need confluence, okay? So over here, this was an SR flip, right? We broke down here, rejected, broke down here, bounced off support, right? Rejected here. This breakout candle, right? We broke resistance. This candle here was your support flip. We turned this resistance to support. That would have been your long trigger, and you would have placed a market buy, stop loss below the lows, and you're going to play the next range. Okay? So that would have been a buy trigger. There's your stop, and you got a nice, almost, what, 18% move, right? So now that we have our support and resistances, you're going to play support resistance flips, right? Once it flips the resistance to support, there is your trigger to long, okay? And vice versa. If it turns a support to resistance, there's your trigger to short. So you could have longed there, right? Here is another area where you could have longed. It was support. It was trend line as well. You could have longed there. Same stop loss. And you got a nice move up there as well. Now, here, if you watched my supply and demand video, is a supply zone. I won't be going over that in detail. You can watch the video. But if you're playing this, that's the setup. Okay. Your entry would have filled, your DCA would have filled, your average would have been somewhere here-ish, right? And from there, we got a nice 8% move. Now let's say you didn't catch that supply zone and you want to look for a short setup. Here's the trend. You're going to look for a break in the trend and play the retest, right? So trend has 3 touches. So 1, 2, and 3. This was the break of trend. So now you're going to look for an area to short. So if it breaks trend, right, for those that play breakouts, you can quickly do a quick scalp on this breakout or breakdown. Stop loss would be very tight because it could be a fake out. Your stop loss would have been probably there, and you would have caught a nice move, right? But I don't like breakouts, so we're going to wait for that retest. So what happens is you're going to set alerts. Okay, you'll set alerts, for example, there, right? Set alerts on the trend line. Once price reaches it or gets close to it, then you can pull out your phone or go on the computer and look for the setup. For that to happen, you're looking for rejection off the trend line, close below it. There's your trigger, right? Your stop loss would be above the wick, and then you're going to be targeting a bunch of support levels, right? So there was support there. It would be the first bounce. We bounced right off of it, right? It was previously resistance, resistance. We flipped it to support there, right? So we flipped it to support there, kept it, right? We bounced from it. So that would have been your first TP. Let's make that blue. And then your next TP would be here, and so on and so forth. Okay? But now, this area here is your confluence, right? It was resistance. You can draw more lines if you want. But this zone here is resistance. let's make that white. Why is that resistance? Over here, we went above, flipped it to support, right? Then we kept it, and then we lost it here. So now it's resistance. That's why this zone here, the supply zone, is a bigger part of that resistance. We are unable to turn it to support here. We reject it from here again. So if it comes back here, probably going to form a double top. Not a clean one, but you could have assumed that it was going to reject. So you could have shorted here. You have this trend line as your confluence, right? So you have two points backing your thesis of a trade. So that was a great point to get in. You could have gone into harmonics. I'm sure there's a harmonic here, right? Something like that. Now my harmonics targets are way off, but you know, if you know harmonics, you could have probably used that as a point of thesis. But you have 2 points, right? That's enough confluence for me to get into a trade. We rejected. That's a reversal candle right there, right? So that was a good enough reason for me to get into the short. The risk to reward here is 3.7, right? And I'm targeting here. So 3.4 R trade. I'm risking $100 to make 340. Those are great odds. I'll take it. And, you got a nice move down. So I love playing these break of trend scalps or swings. They work on every single timeline, right? Now you want to look for a thesis to get long. So what else do we have here? We have a 4-hour order block right here, right? There. So a nice bounce point here, probably somewhere there. Stop loss below support, right? And you're going to target, if we come down here, a new supply zone will be formed here. So what you'll see is probably bounce here, right? Come back up, reject, and go down. What else do you have over here? If I were to remove this, so let's make this a little cleaner. All right. Now, for a trend line to be formed, you're looking for 3 touches, okay? So you can just off 2 expect maybe a rejection here, right? Prior, you had higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Then you have a break in market structure, right? Over here, it created a lower low. Here's a lower high. Here's another one. Maybe you can expect this to get rejected in this area, right? Goes here. Might not make it all the way there, but if it rejects and goes back down, here's another, lower high being made and lower low. This would be the third bounce off of this trend line, right? So there is a high probability that we will bounce. Now you have confluence with the order block and this trend line, right? So that gives me confluence to get into a trade. Stop loss might be a little tighter, but this is a 2-hour trade, risking $100 to make 200 for a quick scalp, so not bad. But if you know, put out your high time frame support and resistances, go on a lower time frame, and then just dissect the chart. Okay, you don't have to market buy anything right now. You can place your limit orders. You can place, um, alerts for when prices get to a certain level, right? And then you can just check it out from there instead of, just blindly getting into something because someone on Twitter or someone on Discord gave you a call. Now, I have a trade plan, right? I'm going to long here, would stop there, and I'm looking for a move back up here, right, to sell. Or if we don't come down here and I see a rejection in the supply zone, then I am looking to set myself up for a short. So I have a trade plan. I'm looking to see what else. We also have a 4-hour support here. So hopefully I don't get stopped out here. If I get a nice, move up, and again, in this market, you can't really swing anything unless you're playing higher time frames, and we drew our high time frame support and resistance, so that's where I'll be looking to swing. Anything in between is more of a scalp. You're looking for a 1.5 to 2% move, nothing more, all right? That's when you'll take profit, and it's a quick in, quick out. Build your portfolio and wait on higher time frame conviction trades to get into those swing plays. So that's what I do when I look into getting into a trade, looking for setups. I take a chart from scratch, start on a higher time frame as the daily, put my support resistances, right, label them out, go on lower time frames, start on the 4-hour, go there, or you can get another chart out, right, and go on the 2-hour, 1 hour if you're scalping, find your plays there, and move forward. This took, 10 minutes to do, not too much time. Find 3 or 4 coins that you like, chart them out, set up your plays, set up your alerts, and see what happens. Thanks, everyone.